I'm incredibly honored and touched to be named the 2025 Joanne Angell Awardee. I was privileged to know Joanne, who was ARVO's first executive director. Joanne set up so much of the infrastructure and initiatives that we all take for granted today, which support eye and vision research, and really make ARVO the premier eye and vision research organization meeting in the world today. ARVO has really shaped my and so many of my colleagues' careers in so many ways. And therefore, this is a fabulous opportunity to acknowledge Joanne and the many people and unsung heroes who support eye and vision research that make up the life-changing organization called ARVO. One of our donors who does the Champalimau gave a very interesting statement saying that when people get a new sight-saving treatment, they don't realize the many, many people that have contributed to that through research. And so, they'll never know, in fact, how much work went into changing their lives. So obviously, it's a wonderful way to pay tribute to the many people who support and make eye and vision research work here and around the world. I first came to ARVO in the late 80s when I was fortunate enough to win a Wellcome Trust Award at the end of my clinical training to study the cellular and molecular basis of tissue repair, healing, and also learn lab and skills necessary to investigate and improve clinical practice. However, research is not something you do just in isolation. So it was a total revelation coming to ARVO and putting a face to all those well-known researchers whose papers I've been reading and having very detailed discussions with them. Many of them have become lifelong friends and colleagues in research, and our discussions have led to very fruitful other research. I subsequently was elected onto the Glaucoma Program Committee, and then later on a trustee of the ARVO board, and then obviously had the privilege of being elected and serving as president, which was immensely rewarding. And so my involvement has been very, very productive, and it's been a wonderful growing experience for me. It was a very memorable year, actually, being president, apart from being president, because we moved from the sunny seaside location of Florida and we moved to Seattle. Fortunately, we were blessed with an amazing week of sunshine, not a drop of rain, and just an amazing meeting. For the year, I chose the theme life-changing research because I wanted to show throughout my term how research changes and improves the lives of people all over the world, including patients and researchers' lives. The keynote speaker I invited was Professor Oliver Smithies, who won the Nobel Prize of Medicine in 2007 for the homologous recombination of transgenic DNA with genomic DNA. And basically, this is the technique behind gene targeting and knockout mice, which has been the basis of so much of our discovery. I also initiated the end of ARVO lecture with another inspiring talk by Chris Murray, who was director of the Institute of Health Metrics in Seattle and who leads the far-reaching Global Burden of Health Disease Enterprise, which is the single largest epidemiological initiative quantifying the huge global burden of health loss, which has been so important worldwide for guiding health policy. We also took part in various ARVO advocacy initiatives, and the ARVO experience has been critical in the various initiatives that we have been part of, including building one of the world's largest eye research centers, one of the world's largest children's eye hospitals, all raised by philanthropic funds. We did the eye component of UK Biobank, which has produced an enormous amount of research around the world. And also, for instance, the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Fund, where was set up to celebrate the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. And we and many others advocated, and eye research and treatment accounted for the majority of the 70 million fund given by the Prime Minister. So I suppose the highlight for me was that advocacy is critically important, particularly at this time now, when research funding is coming under significant threat around the world due to economic situation and political priorities. And so it's on every one of us, with the help of FARVO, to just advocate for basically eye and vision research. Research underpins virtually all of the life-changing improvements we've seen in the prevention and treatment of blinding eye disease. When I did a review for Lord Darcy on blindness, one of the things we were privileged enough was to do a YouGov survey around the continents of the world. And in every continent of the world, people valued their eyesight by far above any of their other senses. And we published this, and I think by volunteering for FARVO, it's an incredibly beneficial and rewarding experience. You meet lots of like-minded people when you volunteer on the different committees and the different initiatives. You learn a lot from them. You learn a lot about yourself. And also you learn about how things are done and how basically you can facilitate and advocate for eye research. And therefore, this is hugely beneficial for you, but also for the organization, because as you know, researchers, you are the lifeblood of the future. And so your involvement with FARVO will help you and will help eye and vision research go right into the future. So I would definitely get involved with FARVO and volunteer. I think the future of eye and vision research is incredibly exciting. The eye is and of course the visual system is a fabulous sort of example or paradigm of just general research, certainly into the neurosciences and certainly into the human body. I think the wonderful theme, which is imagining innovation and intelligence in visual sciences, it's a really great sort of window, if you like, into the future, because we're seeing such advances in our ability to use data, basic biological data, very basic imaging, and then using that data to interrogate how we're going into the future. I mean, take our platforms of imaging, for instance. We're now at the stage where we can even look at inside a cell within the human eye. We can see how things work, which is what we've always wanted to do in the living eye. And we can also see the impact that our very advanced treatments, such as cellular and gene therapy, have on this treatment. And that means that we can move new innovative treatments further and understand how the eye and vision also works. This generates huge amounts of data. And then obviously the biological data that we get from patients, if we combine these together, then we have an insight into how to produce new therapies. And if you take the field of artificial intelligence, for instance, we've worked with Google DeepMind. Dr. Demis Hassabis, who is the chief of now Google AI, worked with us on creating Octane, artificial intelligence for eye diagnosis. But what that showed us was that artificial intelligence has the prospect of taking enormous amounts of data and making very, very tangible sense of things. And in fact, it's very significant, for instance, that he won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry this year, not for AI, but for chemistry, because it means that we can identify from simple DNA, literally millions, hundreds of millions of new molecules that can be used for treating diseases that we find that previously had no treatment. So I think with our modern advances in understanding cellular and molecular biology of the eye, with the use of artificial intelligence and new techniques of creating new treatment molecules, I think I envision research together with new technologies which can treat cells and regenerate them and rejuvenate them, such as, for instance, laser rejuvenation of drainage apparatus. This is extremely exciting and actually opens the door for us to treat many, many more people around the world and actually stop them from going blind, or when they are going blind, stop them from losing their eyesight. So extremely exciting.